Assalamu alaikum. Uh, this is Waqas Khan from Silicon Valley, California. I'm your host for the fifth edition of ULEFUSA TechCAST. Um, TechCAST that brings you the people of substance from the world of engineering, technology, and academia on the topics that are the most pressing for our young people. आज के मेहमान हमारे मकसूद मलिक साहब हैं, CEO of M&J Engineers, based out of New York. अस्सलाम वालेकुम मकसूद।
जी वालेकुम सलाम वकास भाई, क्या हाल है?
बिल्कुल फर्स्ट क्लास सर। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमें ज्वाइन करने का आज। अनदर डिस्टिंग्विश गेस्ट जो हम अपने ऑडियंस को उनसे मुलाकात करवाते हैं। आपसे पहला सवाल ये है कि अपनी ज़रा सी जब आप यंग थे, एजुकेशन और जस्ट योर फैमिली बैकग्राउंड एंड हाउ डिड यू गेट टू यूईटी, उस चीज़ के बारे में ज़रा सी बात कीजिएगा।
ओके जी। अस्सलाम वालेकुम टू एवरीवन। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, before I go to answer your question, I wanted to tribute to my late father, especially, who was my first teacher, who was my motivation. He was also an engineer. He retired as a sub-divisional officer from Bapada. He was also teaching young electrical engineers graduate from UET. Very talented man, not because he was my father, but he was in reality was very, very intelligent person, and I learned a lot from him. So he motivated me. So now, coming to your question, that my journey from my school to UET, I born in Bagbanpura, very close proximity to Engineering University by default, in a sense. So I went to, we call in Pakistan high school, from the 6th grade to metric, 10th grade, and then college is up to 12th grade, in a sense. So I went to government college, government high school, Bagbanpura. There I achieved many things. I, attained, and I was successful to get a small scholarship in my 6th grade. Then up to 9th grade, I can claim I was a very good student. I had very high score, and I believe it's a little fuzzy memory that there was a board exam, like a pre-board exam in the 9th grade. And I had a very high score, very high position. So, because now you wanted to know really my ups and downs and everything, and that might inspire our young engineers, and they don't get disheartened if they see any, hurdle or any bump in front of them. So then in 10th grade, I fall apart in a sense. I was more like into the sports and extracurricular activities. I became the monitor of my class because of one our science teacher, who was also my tutor at that time. He kind of, in his views, he promoted me to control the class, but I was just controlling the class, but losing my time, on the other hand. So I did not do very well in my, 10th grade, the board exam. I barely attained the second class, in a sense. Uh, I had a C grade, so just wanted to let you know. Then the real story begins. My father kind of, as I mentioned earlier, he motivated me to pay attention toward my studies, and then every time he tells me, this is your turning point, this is your turning point of life, and then you're going to be very happy and all kind of things. And I was very, very inspired from my dad. So I started serious studies from my 11th grade, and I was a topper in my college. I went to Government College of Bagbanpura, and first year I had a distinction in mathematics and physics. So I was extremely good in that. Then in board exam, uh, even though I did have very reasonable marks, but I topped my college. So
Hmm.
वो क्या कहते हैं अंधों में खाना राजा लेकिन but a kingdom doesn't matter is small or big. So but I was a topper. I topped my college.
जी.
And then after that, my first engineering school was Engineering University Peshawar because I
अच्छा.
was not wasting any time. Originally, my father had a wish that he wanted to one of his kid to be a doctor. He wanted me to be a doctor, or at least married to a doctor. You know, that's another story to share. But here we're focusing on my engineering career. So, anyways, I went to Engineering University Peshawar on reciprocal seats. At that time, we only had 6 seats to exchange. So I completed my first year. There was annual system,
Hmm.
and I was very successful. As you know, annual system is a bit harder than the semester or term system. So I was at least 6 months ahead of my class fellows or my batch mates. I finished my first year from Engineering University, Peshawar, and then I migrated back to UET.
Hmm.
And I was not actually in second year. I came back to first year in second term. So
Okay.
I just had to register one course in order to sit in the class and be a legit student in that sense.
Hmm.
But I enjoyed my friends. I was learning other courses. I was taking extra courses on the other hand, and then the journey starts in UET. So that's how I went up to UET.
तो आप ये मुझे बताइए कि आपने इंजीनियरिंग तो यूईटी में योर बैच वाज 82,
Yes, I
तो
joined
आपका
82.
ये जो है सिविल इंजीनियरिंग का डिसीजन कैसे हुआ? बिकॉज आपके वाले साहब तो इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर थे, वापडा में काम
जी
करते थे, आई एम अज्यूमिंग,
जी
तो
जी
आपने हाउ डिड
एब्सोल्युटली
यू डिसाइड?
Absolutely. You will be amazed at that time. Civil engineering was on top, and
जी.
electrical mechanical was like number two and number three. So what happened? My merit came in Engineering University Lahore in electrical and mechanical,
ओके.
but I didn't make it civil engineering.
अच्छा.
So I have or had at that time uh, a lot of civil engineers in my family. So they
हम्म.
were very successful. I was inspired by them.
हम्म.
And then on top of that, like I said, my father wanted me to be a doctor, but I could not even see blood,
यस.
So I will come to that also. I have a doctor in my family. Actually, two are going to be from my kids. But I literally, even if I go to a doctor now, I just close my eyes and turn my face if he's drawing my blood, and I start saying my prayers. So I hope I'm gonna go back home alive. So it was that type of situation. So basically, I kind of get Allah Subhanahu wa Taala's like raza in a sense. So I did istihara. And believe it or not, I one of my cousin who became my supervisor or boss later on, he just passed away. God bless his soul, Malik Javed Iqbal. He retired chief engineer from CNW or PWD. So
अच्छा.
he came in my dream.
अच्छा.
So somehow, so if you do istihara, Allah either shows you something or He, make the way for you. You go in that direction. So because I was going to Peshawar and the civil was at top. So
हम्म.
dream was if I'm gonna be an engineer, I wanted to go in the top position. So I was also very much involved in construction activities while we are doing this house, that house, things like
हम्म.
that. So that's
हम्म.
how I chose civil engineering,
ठीक.
which became a very, very, highly successful career for me. I mean, down the road, if I tell you, or if you want, I can share that later on. If I go one step further or jump like a little bit, in fast forward way, when I came here in US to do my MS, I was registered in geotechnical engineering.
Okay.
So my so-called school, uh, they had only one student, which was me in geotechnical.
Nice.
So they canceled the whole program, and I go to construction management. So
Uh,
I was forced to go to construction management, which I built my firm based on that. And now, as you know, we are one of the top firm in United States. We are actually ranked number three in top 50 construction management firms,
अच्छा।
according to ENR's rating. So this is what I
अल्लाह ने यहाँ रास्ते निकालता है। सो ये देखे ना, अब आपने बात, विल कम बैक टू यूटी इन अ सेकंड, बट आपने जो बात की बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि
जी
आपने जियो टेक्निकल इंजीनियरिंग में आप काम कर रहे हैं एंड वो पूरा प्रोग्राम कैंसिल हो जाता है। यू बेसिकली से ओह, मैं ये करना चाहता था लेकिन ये मेरे लिए एक इट्स अ ड्रॉबैक, लेकिन वो रास्ता जो निकला, वो रास्ता कहीं और ले गया, और इट वाज अ मच मोर सक्सेसफुल ऑप्शन। सो दैट्स ग्रेट।
ट्रू।
अच्छा, तो हम वापस जाते हैं। सो आप अब पेशावर से यूटी आ गए। अच्छा, पहले ये बताइए कि लाहौर से जब आप पेशावर गए, एनी कल्चर शॉक? आप तो बगबानपुरा के साहब थे, जस्ट गो टू अ न्यू न्यू सिटी एंड स्टडी देयर। व्हाट वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस देयर?
Not really. What I can tell or claim in a sense, uh, we are basically Pathans.
अच्छा।
We are Kakazi Pathan, Kakar Pathan, if you
जी जी।
know that. So basically, I was a Pathan. It didn't bother me. I
Didn't
actually
bother.
wanted to learn Pashto. I had a lot of relatives live in Mardan,
अच्छा।
uh, in Jamrud area, So it was not like
नॉट एन
any
एडजस्ट।
cultural difference to me. Not at all.
अच्छा, तो अब यूटी में आ गए। अब यूटी में यू आर, थोड़ा सा आपने एक क्लास ली, उसके बाद नाउ यू आर इन इन द स्विंग ऑफ थिंग्स। सो हाउ वाज दैट एक्सपीरियंस?
यूईटी में जब मैं आया तो जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, आई वाज आल्सो केम बैक इन फर्स्ट ईयर इन
जी।
सेकंड टर्म. I registered one subject. I remember that was chemistry. I did very well in that because I had only one course to pass. So after that, second year, I was like more into kind of a politician. I
अच्छा।
was I was CR in my class. I
अच्छा।
had some great friends in that area. So, but I was not a bad student at all, not at all. But it was like a balance in both. So, but after second year, I was damn serious. I was like around my friends, those who were very, very serious about studies.
जी
And one of them is also now a professor. He joined UET right after his graduation. He is, mashallah, PhD. He taught in Japan, and then he's in another far Pacific country, a small country, Palau, I believe. So in that sense, we were very, very good students, and I gained a lot of knowledge. That UAT, I still thank you, salute my teachers that they gave us a lot. We learned a lot of fundamentals. So I became very, very good engineer, believe it or not. I never had any hurdle. And now if we move forward, I will tell you my stories. It's a long journey, but
जी जी
I
जी
was
जी
thinking to begin with 1 hour is a lot. But then when I look back, I said, oh
जी।
my God, am I going to tell them everything in 1 hour? So that's how it looked like. It
जी जी।
was a great, great, you know, experience at UET. The professors were very, very, competent. They taught us a lot. We learned a lot, and I never failed. My education by default, the bachelor's degree was more than enough. I did my master's degree from US, but that is just for the sake of a little better opportunities to advance ourselves. And it was in back of my mind that I came here to get my education. And so in that sense, I just pursue my master's degree. Otherwise, it was not needed nowhere. It helped me very little, to get my professional engineering license because your master's degree considered 1 years of practice, your field experience or practical experience. So that was a help. It was not a waste or anything. Education always is a help, and your knowledge as much as you get carries no burden. So you always enjoy that. And I had very good GPA. I had 3.7 in my master's degree. I did very, very well. Actually, yeah.
नहीं, बहुत बहुत सही। तो आप जो हैं इसमें, जब आपने डिग्री खत्म की यूईटी से, उसके बाद आपने सोचा कि आप बाहर पढ़ने जाना चाहते हैं? हाउ हाउ डिड दैट, वो कैसे हुआ?
वो भी ऐसे हुआ कि आई गॉट मैरिड. I
अच्छा।
was working here in CNW as a work charge engineer.
अच्छा।
So I had my selection in under Junejo program.
हम्म।
So I had my selection in LDA, but I was not kind of, you know, like my heart was not there. I always wanted to like uh, grow faster in a sense.
हम्म।
So I felt like I'm going to be dull if I don't utilize my brain. So, also in this conversation, I'm going to keep sending messages that we, the engineers should explore themselves to begin with. We should understand what we can do, what actually we are for, and all kind of things. So that's what I kind of had that capability or that blessing from Allah that I knew my talent. I knew what I can do. So I just did not, I never feared of anything which I wanted to do. I just moved it and I jumped into the fire in a sense. And I had no failure in my life. It's like everything was just scripted and I was just following that script. Never, ever in my life I had any failure. Not at all. No regrets whatsoever. So this is
वेरी गुड,
what it was.
वेरी गुड। सो अमेरिका, आप यू गॉट टू, आप न्यूयॉर्क आए शुरू में? वेयर डिड यू गो?
Naeem, sorry, I jumped into the different direction.
जी जी
Your question was how did it happen? I got married in that time.
जी
I
जी।
married in 1989 February. So I planned with my wife that we're gonna go for honeymoon. We went to Europe and we came to Canada. There I got admission in Concordia University in my
अच्छा।
master's. That was also in geotechnical engineering.
अच्छा।
So my wife was pregnant at that time, and then cultural thing came in front. So
हम्म।
she had to come back because I was the eldest in the family. So family wanted her to come back and take care of her,
हम्म।
without knowing that it's even much better if she stayed here with me.
Stay
But
with you.
you know, that we looked later. But at that time she went back, and it was like advice I can pay attention toward my studies. And then later I came to US. I got admission in Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute,
हम्म।
where I was offered uh, a teaching assistantship, TA, and my professor offered me to pay my room board and my tuition.
अच्छा।
And at the same time, I took the courage and I took the civil service exam in the state of New York.
हम्म।
And I stood number two. I had a second position throughout the state. And
हम्म।
I got a phone call that I still remember. That was a neat day. I was with my friends in Shalwar Kameez and celebrating. I got a phone call and they said, you have to come for an interview for junior engineering.
अच्छा।
I said, what? I could not tell them it's our Eid or whatever. I said,
हम्म।
when is that? He said, you can come afternoon. I said, what? And that was actually 1990, early 1990, and it was Bush Senior's time. And the country was in, I'm not going to say Great Depression, but it was a very bad depression time. And the New York State DOT laid off that year alone 20,000 people.
हम्म।
So because then I got a phone call to get a job. So the gentleman who interviewed me, his name was Jim McDonald. I asked him, you guys laid off just 20,000 people. So why are you offering me a job? I mean, why so much love for us? I mean, I was just thinking, and I asked him. He
Hmm.
said, no, we have a policy. No matter how bad we are doing, we always hire 10 top people. We do not lose talent. So
अच्छा.
I was number two in state. So they offered me a job, and it was a very lucrative job. And I took the challenge. It was very highly challenging job over Lake Champlain. If you know the name, it
जी.
was 105-mile long lake on Canadian and US border.
Hmm.
And it was a bridge over, border between Vermont and New York at 2 fiscal years. So, like I said, I enjoyed, that one, my first job in US, and I was like on one of the top, very well recognized engineer over there.
Hmm.
So the state was very, very proud of me. I got a lot of citation on that part that
जी.
I did very, very well. So that's
ठीक है.
how.
तो आपकी वो जर्नी तो हो गई. आप यू आर सेटल्ड नाउ. आपने पहली जॉब शुरू कर दी. यू गेटिंग एक्कलेड्स. सारा कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है. तो वहां से आपकी जर्नी जो है, अब ये वाली जो चीज जॉब थी, ये आपकी कंस्ट्रक्शन मैनेजमेंट की जॉब थी या किस किस्म की जॉब थी?
जी जी, इसमें मैं जो मेरी जॉब थी वो एज ए जूनियर इंजीनियर थी. तो लाइक आई सेड द डीओटी laid off thousands and thousands of people. So
हम्म.
there were only two people on the
हम्म.
bridge to build the whole new bridge. The
अच्छा.
bridge was about 3/4 of a mile over water,
अच्छा.
and it was used to be a toll bridge, and then the bridge authority turned it over to DOT, and I was DOT employee. So me and my boss, my engineer in charge, we were two of us were at the bridge to build the whole bridge. So we have to look at the design. I have to run the estimates. I was the office engineer. I was the inspector. I
हम्म.
was the engineer. I was the material testing guy, and you name it. I was
ओके.
all in one. So it was only
बाकी
one
बच्चों
man.
को नहीं पता, डीओटी इज डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन. ये अमेरिका में एक
Transport
बहुत
of
बड़ा
जी
डिपार्टमेंट होता
yes
है जिसमें काफी सारी चीजें होती
जी
हैं. बिल्कुल ठीक है. सो आपने वहां पे यू आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग दिस ब्रिज और आगे चल रहे हैं. उसके बाद
जी.
फिर अपने काम पे कैसे पहुंचे?
इस तरह ये भी उसी से रिलेटेड है. While I was working at that bridge, another junior engineer came.
हम्म.
And then, as you know, in government jobs, the later goes first. If there is a situation like that, whoever is the junior, he goes first.
जी.
So the gentleman came. His name was Jim Taboon, a young, engineer. So
हम्म.
he had a family situation. His mother was suffering from cancer. He had a little sister at home, and his father. I'm not going to say anything on that, but he left them alone. And then there was a situation that he might go. So my
हम्म.
engineer in charge approached me because I was also going to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which it's a number two or number three ranking in US. It
जी.
was a top school. So he knew my situation. He said, why don't you surrender in his favor? And you
हम्म.
have to give it in writing. And I think I see you somewhere else. You are much better than what you're doing here. And I go to him. I said, why you want me to leave? So he said, believe me, you're never going to fail. I see that. I took his word. I surrendered in his favor. And I think I did a very, very right decision. I did a favor to him. That was a good deed. But then later on, I came to New York City area. I went to NGIT. I got a research assistantship from my professor. He was from India. His name was Dr. Raj Khera. He paid
हम्म.
my tuition and he paid me a salary on top of that.
हम्म.
So he had a great, that grant from U.S. government to do research work on bentonite soil samples. As I mentioned, I was in geotechnical engineering,
हम्म.
and that school dropped the program, and then I was pushed to construction management,
हम्म.
where I completed construction management, and then I never had a job issue, job after job. I had lines of jobs, waiting for me until I started my own business in late 2004.
सो अब आप 2004 में आ गए. आपने अपनी कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनी का सोचा कि भाई बनाएंगे. And what kind of construction
We
company is it?
we are not contractors. We do not have construction in a sense. We are consultants. We are engineering firm. Like I can give you an example, like Nespark
जी जी
in a
जी
way. So we are consultants. We are not contractors, but we are engineers. We do design work. We do construction management. So we are a full service engineering firm. We do a lot of military installations. One of my son, he is like a savvy and guru or expert in technology. He built his own rocket. His firm called iRocket.
हम्म
He did his first launch in California just recently.
हम्म
So he's mashallah, he was very, very talented. He built a robot while he was in school.
हम्म
Being a civil engineer, I pushed my son also to be a civil engineer. By the way, I have three kids. Two of my sons are civil engineer. One of my daughter is civil engineer. And one of my daughter is a doctor, and I have five kids total. And my second daughter is becoming a doctor. She's
हम्म,
in third year in NYU, New
अच्छा.
York. G. So that's what it was.
नहीं, so very good. So आपने कंपनी बनाई कंस्ट्रक्शन की एंड
Consultants. G. G.
and basically
Engineering.
consulting key. And you basically now have made it a huge success, as you mentioned, one of the top companies in the world. So that's absolutely wonderful. अब प्रोफेशनली बताइए, अब बच्चे जो हैं ये पूछते हैं कि भाई हाउ डज वन यू नो गेट इनटू सक्सेसफुल. हमारे सिविल इंजीनियर्स जो हैं या हमारे आर्किटेक्चरल इंजीनियरिंग के स्टूडेंट्स हैं और जो लोग हैं जो आपसे इंस्पायर होते हैं, आपकी कंपनी कैसे आपने बनाई, सक्सेस उसका राज क्या था, और आप कैसे देखते हैं कि उसकी नेक्स्ट फेज किस तरह का होगा.
देखिए मैं my first and foremost thing was, like I said earlier, I was never feared. I was never afraid of anything. Whatever
जी
I was thinking, I was very much certain on that. So, I mean, it's like I said before. Now I realize 1 hour is very little for me to tell you
जी
everything,
जी.
whatever it is. But I try to squeeze the time within that time limit, so I quickly cover that. I was working for a firm, and they offered me a very challenging position. It was a design build job, and I had an opportunity to work directly under the owner and CEO of the firm.
अच्छा.
And it was a large firm. I'm not talking about a small firm. So my direct supervisor, she hired me. She said, because I insisted a challenging job. They gave me some jobs I was not quite happy. I said, no, this is not for me. If you want to give me this, give me like half a dozen or like that. I'm wasting my talent. So it's the
हम्म
other way around. People look for little easy life. I was not.
हम्म
So he said, okay, would you work for Steve Greenman? I said, so why not? She said, you know who he is? I said, of course I know. So I took a job with Steve, and then the story ended with this, that they throw Steve out of the project and they said, we want him.
हम्म
So I took her from Steve, and then I saved him. That was a design build project. We had to build a power plant within 90 days. It's a 50 megawatt power plant. I'm not an electrical engineer, but
हम्म
my father was. So that
हम्म
also helped me on that sense.
हम्म.
So I made it a huge success. They were under liquidated damages, $100,000 a day, and we were
अच्छा.
already in a fourth month.
हम्म
So you do the math. Our
हम्म
total fee was 4 million, but we were already lost our fee plus 100,000 per day liquidated damages, and the job was not done. So long story short, I finished the job in another month, and I got him the second project with my efforts, my abilities. I removed all the liquidated damages, so that gentleman, my CEO of the firm, he took me to dinner and he said, "Okay, you saved my neck from that. You tell me what I can do for you."
हम्म
I said, okay, I always wanted to, I had a dream to make my own firm,
हम्म
because one of my, later he became my partner in my firm. He was my supervisor. His name is Albert Pazotrigo. When he wrote a recommendation for my PE application, he wrote about me. Maqsood is a very civil-minded civil engineer,
हम्म.
and with the business bend of mind.
अच्छा.
I I just out of blue, I said, business bend of mind. I keep thinking about that. So, basically that was my motivation to
हम्म.
think about that. And then while I was working for a small consulting firm owned by an Indian. His name was Shuladia, Mr. Shuladia. I asked him a question. Same question. I said, how did you start your firm? He said,
हम्म.
listen, young man, the river is flowing.
हम्म.
If you have a small part, it's going to be filled. If you have a big part, it's going to be filled.
हाँ.
So,
काम की बात बताई उसने आपको. बिल्कुल काम की बात बताई.
bilkul,
हाँ.
bilkul. So that is the message to young engineers. Look,
हम्म.
the river is flowing. I
हम्म.
mean, our industry, just to, again go to with the flow of conversation, that in US is a $2 trillion industry, just the construction industry. And the worldwide is $15 trillion. 15 trillion.
हम्म.
I mean, it's not a joke. Go get your piece. What can stop you? Nothing.
हम्म.
All you have to motivate yourself, set your goal, focus, and don't be afraid. Don't get into a fear. I can add another example here that sometimes we are afraid of, oh, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna feed my family, all kind of things. But
हम्म.
then you're gonna stuck with a job. Then you cannot just into that. You're never gonna wear that pair of shoes then. Look, I give you another example that Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb and
हम्म.
he tried 10,000 times.
हम्म.
10,000 times. He failed.
हम्म.
I mean, I repeat again and message to the young engineers or young people 10,000 times. Count 10,000 is going to take you maybe an hour or two, right? And he said, okay. And finally, he made it. And people asked him, he said, now I know 10,000 ways to make the light bulb. He said, it's not my failure.
Yes.
So, never, failure is your teaching experience, failure is your ladder or your way to success. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy your success. You're never going to learn nothing. What are you going to learn otherwise? Right? You're just going to see in one direction, and when you fail, then what are you going to do? You're
बिल्कुल
never
सही.
going to learn. You have no experience. You have no lesson learned. So that's what it is.
तो इसमें ही आई थिंक एक और मैसेज है आप जो यंग लोगों को आप बता सकते हैं. आई
जी,
थिंक पहली बात तो ये है कि सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस लोगों में होना चाहिए टू थिंक कि
absolutely,
भाई मुझे अपनी चीज करनी है. और दूसरी
absolutely.
बात यह है कि उनको ये भी सोचना चाहिए कि जब उनके ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा जिम्मेदारियां नहीं हैं उस वक्त चांस लें तो फिर लंबे अरसे तक वो सक्सेस जा सकते
Yeah, definitely. In that sense, I will add. At one point, I was kind of told one of the consultant I work for that we might have downsize in a sense, and then I was afraid. I
हैं.
said, what's going to happen? At that point, I thought you always have a backup, and at
हम्म.
that point, I bought a franchise with a reasonable price. It was
हम्म.
home inspection business, which in Pakistan called evaluation of the houses, right?
हम्म. हम्म.
So being an engineer, I had an edge because it was a franchise in New York City. So
हम्म.
nobody was going to Manhattan. Nobody was going to the city. So I
अच्छा.
had no limits. I took that, nobody touching the territory. So I like kind of claimed that territory free of charge. I
हम्म.
go there, I inspect the high-rise buildings and I charge like thousands of dollars. Whereas you inspect a house, you charge only $300-400, but that made a big difference. And then I was teaching the first-time home buyers free of charge. I go to Citibank hired me. I refused to take any money because I was helping poor people or first-time home buyers. I was going to teach people first-time home buyers in churches, Abyssinian Church, Presbyterian Church. They're one of them. And then I was recognized to given a Congress pin. I had the pin, that it is like given to congressmen. So that's how I was recognized, and that was a big landmark. And so, whenever, again, the message is your, self-determination, how determined you are, and how focused you are, how, confident you are. And you always go for knowledge. Knowledge never, get you to downward. Knowledge has a lot of power, and knowledge has no burden. You go for either higher degrees, master's degree, whatever. Go get your certifications, go get your, licenses, whatever is needed. Just do not wait. Whenever the opportunity comes, timing is the key. Time is your timing, right time when you make decisions, when you have time, when you can do other things, just do it. And that always helps you. So this is another message to the young engineers in a sense. So that's what it was. So I was not like, in a sense, I was not afraid. I was doing very well in that as well, like I told you. So I evaluate, I balanced it. Okay, I can do this. I had two parallel businesses, two parallel businesses. So the other one, because this was more prestigious, more challenging, it was bigger in a sense. It
Yes.
was global thinking. I didn't want to limit myself.
Mm.
So that's what it is. And also, for young engineers, never limit yourself, never ever. Because if you think globally, you think big, then you can advance, then you can attain or achieve whatever you want. And I have seen a lot of successes. It's not, success is not like something you cannot get. Look,
Mm.
you came from your high school to your engineering school, you passed your engineering degree. So, what is the problem? Just gain a little bit of experience, get motivation from your seniors, from your teachers, from like alumnus, from meet people in professional societies, ask them the relevant projects, big projects, get their advices, how they became successful. Make a mentor. Ask him, mentor me in that. Give me some training, give me some opportunity. So not just the advice, but actually go into a practical life, get some internship. I came one time, a Bangladeshi girl came to me and she wanted an internship. I said, what made you to come to us and what would you do? She said, I'm motivated, like looking at our profile and all kind of things. I said, okay. So I just joked with her. I said, oh, we don't pay nothing to the interns. She said, no problem. I said, what do you mean, no problem? She said, I wanted to learn first. Then I will be worried about my salary or whatever else. So this is the right attitude. And now she's very successful. She's still with us, working with us for the last 7, 8 years. But she had a right attitude. She has self-determination into that direction. And that's what you have to determine. You have to determine your direction.
Mm. बहुत अच्छे। अब आपकी जो एरिया है उसमें भी बहुत सारे चेंजेस आ रहे हैं। इस वक्त एआई इफेक्ट कर रहा है कई चीज़ों को। सो उसका एक सवाल आया है हमें कि भाई
जी.
एआई का जो इम्पैक्ट है इन कंस्ट्रक्शन, हाउ डू यू सी इट?
Well, AI is future, okay? But AI is not going to replace engineers. AI is not going to replace you.
जी।
You have to be there. So who's going to use AI? You're going to use AI, right? So go ahead, learn AI, get into that. And people, those who would not use AI, and they're going to be, and the engineers, those use AI, they're going to replace them.
राइट।
So then AI gonna take their, then the AI gonna take their position. So there is a lot of scope. You know what I mean? So you got to update yourself. Like I said earlier, you got to get the knowledge. You got to keep update yourself. When look, 20 years ago, when the computer came, who knew that you're gonna come into this? Look, you and me talking. You're in California. I'm in Lahore, Pakistan. So we are talking like next to each other. So at that time, there was no such a thing, right?
बस।
So now AI is in that sense, and we have built a team to go into that direction. Actually, here in Pakistan, I just met a UETian. He is on a very high government position, but his passion is AI. He's
Hmm.
doing MPhil in AI.
Hmm.
So from UET, probably when I come to your lab inauguration, he wanted to join me. That's why I asked you, can I bring? So
या
that's what it.
बिल्कुल
Yeah,
बिल्कुल ही बात।
yeah.
अच्छा, हाँ, नहीं तो बिल्कुल सही है, आपने कहा बेसिकली टूल है ना, जैसे आप कंप्यूटर टूल है, जैसे आपने कहा उसकी इस्तेमाल होगी, उसी तरह एआई का भी इस्तेमाल होगा। इट्स अ टूल, इट्स लाइक कैलकुलेटर जो इस्तेमाल करते हैं आप टू कैलकुलेट,
बिल-
रादर देन डू इट इन योर हैंड यू कैन
बिल्कुल
यूज अ कैलकुलेटर। उसी तरह एआई इज अ
बिल-
टूल। सो जो लोग भी इस्तेमाल करेंगे हर फील्ड में, उनको उसका फायदा
बिल-
हो, और जो नहीं फायदा
एग्जैक्ट
करेगा उसको वो रिप्लेस कर देंगे,
वो
बिल्कुल बहुत
वो
सिंपल
आउट
सी।
वो आउटडेटेड हो जाएगा। जैसे आपके पास अब सेल फोन के बगैर कौन रह सकता है?
बिल्कुल।
अमेरिका में कभी कहते थे कि यू कैन लिव विदाउट योर वाइफ बट कैन नॉट लिव विदाउट कार। तो अब जो है, अब आप सेल फोन के बगैर नहीं रह सकते, अब वाईफाई के बगैर रह सकते हैं। तो दैट्स व्हाट इट इज। इट्स द सेम वे द टेक्नोलॉजी इज प्रोग्रेसिंग and you have to move to that direction. You have to be go with the flow. I mean, look, we are in a race. The race is on. If you just go outside of the race and stop for a minute, where are you going to catch the people? You tell me. I mean, you're never going to able to catch, that race. People are going to be gone like a mile. So that's just like you asked, you have to get into the latest technology, knowledge. You have to upgrade your knowledge. So that's very imminent. That's very, very important.
करना पड़ेगा। अच्छा, ये मिशेल ने एक सवाल किया है आपके से कि भाई, लुकिंग बैक, व्हाट ऑलमोस्ट स्टॉप्ड यू फ्रॉम कंटिन्यूइंग एंड व्हाट केप्ट यू गोइंग। ये मुश्किलें आई होंगी, कंपनी आपने बनाई, अप्स एंड डाउन्स आते हैं, तो इसके बारे में बताइए।
What I'm sorry,
व्हाट
there was it. What
व्हाट
kept
ऑलमोस्ट
me?
स्टॉप्ड यू फ्रॉम कंटिन्यूइंग एंड व्हाट केप्ट यू गोइंग, ये सवाल।
Well, nothing stopped me to kept going except a lot of hours. A lot of hours. If you are determined, like I said before,
जी।
then nothing stops. If you're willing to sacrifice your other life, your social life, if you could confine yourself in a room and wanted to or willing to work for 18 hours a day, nothing stops you. Then you're good. So if you're ready for that, then you believe me, nothing gonna stop you. So that's what it is. That's the simple answer to that. Because eventually you're gonna succeed. You're gonna be successful. The opportunity is gonna come across. There is no way that look, I told you how big the industry, our industry is. It's not only for civil engineers, for contractors or constructors. In every single project, you have uh, electrical components, you have security cameras, you have HVAC, you have mechanical MEP in there. So it's all type of engineering. Now they have EPA involved into that. You have all kind of engineers involved in one project. So there are opportunities. So that's my messages.
वेरी गुड। अब ये एक तनवीर हैं, 84 आर्किटेक्चर,
जी।
उन्होंने पूछा है कि हाउ डू यू सी द फ्यूचर ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट इन पाकिस्तान एंड व्हाट एडवाइस विल यू गिव टू यंगर जनरेशन।
Well, I would say keep your knowledge up to date. Again, focus on your vision. Make a vision and uh, get certain certifications, proper certifications. Be a part of the construction societies like we have CMA in America, American Society of Civil Engineers, American Society of Structural Engineers, so and so. It's a dozens of way to go there. So when you get into that professional setup, you are exposed to more, ideas, more projects you see, and it's much easier for you to advance in that. You have connections and you do the networking. The word of mouth is the strongest way to have networking. So then people remember you, people know you. Otherwise, if you just read books and keep reading, I know everything comes from the books, but that's not enough. You have to gain some sort of training, like I said before, some sort of mentorship, some sort of you know, uh, learning process, leading. You need a leadership in that to develop inside yourself. So that's what it is.
बिल्कुल सही। अब दो लोगों ने डिफरेंट तरीके से पूछा, आई एम गोना कंबाइन इट। सो एक उमर साहब हैं और एक मलिक साहब हैं। उन्होंने ये पूछा कि भाई एमएनजे इंजीनियरिंग जो है अगले 5-10 साल में कहाँ पे आप देखते हैं, और ये कि आपका कोई इरादा है इसको अमेरिका के अलावा पाकिस्तान में फॉर एग्जांपल करने का। दैट्स वन क्वेश्चन।
100%, and I really thank you for this question because uh, every year, every year I set a goal.
जी।
I I call a meeting between all the executives and key people, and
हम्म।
I tell them I wanted to grow my firm. Let's say if I right now we are almost give or take 475 people firm. So I set a goal every year. I wanted to see my firm to bring it to, let's say, 700 people,
जी।
right?
जी।
So the first question comes, how? So we
हाँ।
set goals, we look into the markets, we look into the future, like you mentioned, AI or whatever else, where the forecasts are, where the money going to be poured, like airports or infrastructures in bridges, highways, or traffic engineering. So, we do the study in that part. So, so having said that, like I said, we are very heavy in federal government's work,
हम्म।
in especially in military installations. And then we had, just going a little back from your
हम्म।
question,
हम्म।
that we were selected under US Agency of International Development, USAID, जिसको पाकिस्तान में कहते हैं. तो we had not a, we had multiple contracts under that agency. And I would say very proudly that we had about $800 million just our fee. I'm not talking about construction cost, which my friend Trump took it away and he closed the department. And we were almost coming to Pakistan to do a hydrokinetic energy project
हम्म।
because we burn coal here, and EPA and the weather changing, climate changing situation all over the world is very, it's a concern. So they were offering Pakistan, India, and Iran was also one of them in there to pour money into this region and build those hydroelectric power plants. So, having said that, we are also connected with World Bank and Asian Development Bank, ADB. And as we talk, I am starting my firm here. We already registered with Pakistan Engineering Council.
अच्छा।
As by default, I'm a Pakistani. And when you go after those projects, when you belongs to that country, so you have extra scoring points
हम्म।
because you have an edge. You speak local language, you understand local culture, you know people. And
हम्म।
then whatever projects come under those aids, they wanted you to train the locals because you're not going
राइट।
to be here forever.
राइट।
So when you know the people, when you have the language edge, so they say, hey, they are the best. And if you have a reputation and if you are good, so then what's going to stop you? So our theory is that our thing is that. So that's what we are looking into, and we are very much into Pakistan. Not only because there are big challenges or anything, but for some reason, uh, whatever I got it from this country, right? They gave me free education in a sense, right?
जी बिल्कुल
You
बिल्कुल।
go outside, people do not complete their education because they have no money. Or even if they go, they 5, 10 years, they are under burden to pay the loan back, right? So we have to pay back to our society. I have to pay back to my school. So that's what we have to give back through our building and mentoring and training and leading the new generation. So that's the whole point. So for that very reason, I sponsor on top of my head, I think at least 14 or 20 scholarship every year through UIT alumni in Canada. They are very active. They call it UE Tech,
UTech,
UE Tech. So I give them, and I most recently also a project came across for reverse osmosis that water purification plants, and we installed in honor of my late parents to all the 17 hostels.
वेरी गुड,
So
बहुत अच्छा।
we have to come back. We have to give
जी
something back to our country
जी
and
जी,
to our.
बिल्कुल। अच्छा, अब मलिक साहब ने सवाल किया है। मलिक साहब कह रहे हैं कि भाई लाइट गेज प्रीफैब स्टील कंस्ट्रक्शन इज वेरी पॉपुलर ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, लेकिन पाकिस्तान लैग्स बिहाइंड। व्हाट वुड यू लाइक टू से एंड शेयर एनी इनसाइट्स ऑन इट?
लाइट स्टील के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से जो पूछ रहे
जी
हैं,
जी
वी आर
जी
बिहाइंड।
जी
देखें, पहली बात तो ये है कि आई एम नॉट इन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ स्टील। नंबर टू, we that's what my I keep on uttering in a sense that we have to compete. We have to be there. The people, we have to offer them some sort of incentive. So the people have knowledge in that. They come here like doctors come, right? The doctors come in the beginning to treat cancer and all kind of other things which we didn't have facilities in our country. So same way, I would say at government level, they have to promote that. I mean, how you and me can simply elevate that? We can't. I mean, you can write an article, you can do research, then what's going to happen at the end? You're going to I can tell you a lot of PhD professors, they have sent me their theses and research. And then they said, no scope, can you give us a letter so at least we come there and continue that? So, so what's the point then? It has to be like in America, we have ACEC. That is your spokesperson. They bring your issues to the politicians, to the assembly, and they made the changes accordingly. They involve into your specifications and everything. So that's what we have to look into that. Once you give in that, regard, add a chapter or add a section into that, and then people are gonna look for that. People are gonna come. They're gonna create something to advance into that. That's what my 2 cents are in there.
वेरी गुड। अब आपसे और किस्म के सवाल भी हो रहे हैं। एक
जी।
शायान शाह साहब हैं, वो कह रहे हैं कि भाई हाउ हैज योर लीडरशिप स्टाइल चेंज्ड सिंस यू स्टार्टेड एमएनजे? तब से अब तक कैसे आपकी लीडरशिप इवॉल्व हुई है
जी।
विद विद द
जी
लार्जर कंपनी?
मैं कहता हूं कि देखिए, यू हैव टू you have to start learning to give credit to people. Leaders do not take credit.
जी
Leaders give credit.
बिल्कुल
Okay. When you learn that, believe me, you feel like then you are a leader, right?
बिल्कुल।
So I give him a little example. I hired one gentleman. He was
हम्म,
from Scandinavian country, I can tell you this much.
हम्म,
And I hired him to write proposals.
ठीक।
I said, how's your English? English writing.
हम्म,
So he said, well, my wife says I am the best writer in the world. At the end of the day, I found he's not the best writer in the world. So now, being a leader, if I'm a lousy leader, I can fire him, I can get rid of him. No problem. Right? That's a simple solution. I said,
बिल्कुल।
no. I said, I'm going to explore what I can get out of him. He was very good in business development. He was fearless. He can go talk to Donald Trump.
हम्म,
He can tell him, hey, listen, I'm the best writer and I can build the world in 2 days. So I promoted him to that. I said, listen, I'm not mentioning his name. I said, listen, you leave this on the side. I'll hire somebody else. You get me some projects. I'll hire 10 Shakespeares to write the proposals. I don't care your English is that well in writing or not. So believe it or not, he brought me a $2 billion project where my fee was about $40 million.
एक्सेलेंट।
So this is this is the leadership. Not
Yes.
leader is not that who, I'm sorry to say that put you down or just yell and scream. No, it's not my style. I don't do that. I just explore within that person what is he good for. And I see that, and I have no regret with that, even though I hired him for something else. So this is a leader should look into how he can utilize, optimize the talent of his people.
वो कहते हैं ना कि वो बस में किस सीट पे किसको बिठाना है, दैट इज लीडरशिप। बिल्कुल,
Exactly.
बिल्कुल सही है। आप अब हमने काफी सारी चीजों के बारे में बात कर ली। वी गॉट द लास्ट 5 मिनट्स। आई वांट टू सी यू टेल अस कि भाई, हाउ do you see, the future for your entity, and also a message for the young people that are listening, क्योंकि बहुत सारे इंजीनियर्स हैं और टेक्नोलॉजिस्ट हैं, यूटी में हैं या बाहर हैं, जो कि डिफरेंट एरियाज में काम कर रहे हैं। तो आपका मैसेज
जी,
उन लोगों के लिए क्या है?
देखिए मेरा मैसेज यही है कि टॉकिंग स्पेसिफिकली फ्रॉम आवर स्कूल फ्रॉम यूईटी,
हम्म।
our school, our engineering school or professional school gave us the fundamentals. They gave us the knowledge. They gave us the education.
हम्म।
And then world is wide open, trying to embrace us to give the opportunities to become leaders, or at least at the bare minimum, good managers or good engineers, right? So try to go to that direction, you know. Uh, just don't, like I said, don't limit yourself. Just think globally, think widely, get knowledge, focus yourself, set your goals. I always say three things that I claim myself. I am a goal oriented, task oriented, and then result oriented. You got to focus yourself on one, thing at a time. So, that's my clear and loud message to our people. Make your decisions in a timely fashion. Don't delay your things. Don't fear of failures. Just focus on that. And that's why I always say this is my always a favorite thing to say. Look, ordinary mind discuss people. Average mind discuss events. Great mind discuss ideas. So if you're not gonna share any ideas, so where is the success? What's the point? So always think of something different. Look, all these great people in the world, why they are there? They even didn't sometimes go to graduate from their colleges, but they had ideas and they were very focused. They were determined. So that's what my message is. Be determined, be focused, don't give up and do not fear of anything. I give you an example in my home. My son, I made him to be a civil engineer. Uh, he became a civil engineer, but he focused what he liked, what he was good in. He was good in electronics and robots and rockets. Every single toy was an aeroplane from his childhood, which I, being even a father, never focused on that part. But he never lose his focus, and now he's way ahead of the game. So that's what I would say.
एक्सलेंट, एक्सलेंट। मकसूद, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। ये तो बहुत अच्छी कॉन्वर्सेशन रही आपसे, और आपकी इंसाइट्स जो हैं वो हमारे ऑडियंस को बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद आई होंगी। हम खुदा हाफिज कहेंगे विद द प्रॉमिस कि हम अगला टेककास्ट जो है 4 मार्च को करेंगे। हमारे गेस्ट होंगे इरफान वहाब खान साहब। और आप लोगों को खुदा हाफिज कहने से पहले हमेशा मैं एक शेर पढ़ता हूँ। एक
जी,
मुबारक सिद्दीकी साहब का शेर है, किसी की राह से खुदा की खातिर उठा के कांटे हटा के पत्थर। किसी की राह से खुदा की खातिर उठा के कांटे हटा के पत्थर, फिर उसके आगे निगाह अपनी झुका के रखना कमाल ये है। आई वॉन्ट everybody to have a great day. और आप लोग सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल को, अलिफ यूएसए यूट्यूब चैनल एंड अदर सोशल मीडिया, एंड वी विल गिव यू मोर एंड मोर कंटेंट. थैंक यू वेरी मच मकसूद, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you very so much for having